Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
Broadcasting around the world.
Well, hello.
This is your number one internet radio station.
Here's my story, it's sad but true. It's about a girl that I once knew. She took my love, then ran around with every single guy in town. Hey, hey, whoa.
Till I know it from the very start. This girl will leave me with a broken heart. From a runaround Sue, yeah. Whoa, whoa.
You can turn the headphones back off if you want.
I keep away from a runaround Sue. All of that just gets better and better as you hear it. Welcome back, Smile Radio, Facebook Live. We're on again. It's that time, Wednesday, 7:45 p.m. On the whistle with myself and Zoe.
Hi.
Still nursing a poorly arm in a new sling.
Got a new sling this week.
And it does. You look a lot more comfortable with it now. You're not as last week you were.
It's not chafing against my ear, my neck.
Yeah.
So it's all right.
Good stuff. Standard procedure really tonight. We'll review all the fixtures from the weekend. Plenty of talking points as usual.
Some fantastic results over the weekend.
Some fantastic results. Some very
unexpected.
No, that's what I'm going to say. I don't think it's unexpected, and that's what I'm going to come on to. There's no expected result in Super League now, and that proves it with the table. Obviously, Saints and Warrington are cut adrift at the top, but from third down to 12th, there's very little in them.
Not even that really that far. I mean,
but they're still above third, aren't they? There's a nice little cushion on third there. So from third to 12th, it's mad. I think it's the closest Super League season I've known. So we'll have a look at that. We'll give us predictions on who'll sort of finish where and who's in danger the most. And of course we'll look ahead to the weekend fixtures. Some mouth-watering clashes, and the one I'm looking forward to the most. It's tomorrow night's Tailfinders, Hull KR away at London Broncos. It's a massive game. It's the game of the weekend, and it, I think if you'd have said at the beginning of the season, end of June, London and Hull KR, you're going to be looking forward to watching it and watching it with interest. When the fixtures are done on Sky, you think, London and Hull KR on a Thursday night. Ooh. I think I'd rather watch paint dry, but now there's a real meaning behind that game now, so it'll be interesting to see how that one pans out. So we'll give us thoughts on all that as well. Little recruitment rumours going around, and one I saw that in fact we'll kick off with it actually, while I remember because I'll forget, is I've seen that Matt Parcell and Sean Lund are taught to be swapping.
That sort of came out last week.
But then Matt Parcell's been named in Richard Agar's 19 for St Helens on Friday.
I think I saw something earlier this week that said. But I think because Hull KR only named an 18-man squad, so there's talk of whether they were trying to bring Matt Parcell in before the game, but I think it was too much of a big ask. They've got to move somebody on in order to bring him in. So we'll see on that one, but I'm not really sure about that one.
I think Hull KR have got the best deal.
Yeah, they've got the better deal of the two clubs. I mean, I wouldn't bringing in Matt Parcell yet. He's a good player. I don't know if he's fulfilled his potential at Leeds, but Leeds haven't been a good side for the past couple of years. So Sean Lund going the other way, is he past his sell-by date?
I've, with all due respect to Sean Lund, I've always found him to be an okay player.
I agree.
Okay player. He's never he's never been one for. A lot of people have raved about him and things like that in the past. I think he's been okay as Sean Lunt. Sort of Super League player. He's good for a try, but I think the problem with Lunt throughout his career is he's just struggled to stay on the pitch all the time, and
he's always had niggling injuries.
Injuries and obviously illnesses as well, which have been unfortunate. But yeah, I think look, he's what now, 32-year-old or whatever, he's in his 30s. Like Matt Parcell's still relatively young or younger than what Sean Lunt is, and looks, even if he's not a great deal younger than Sean Lunt, he looks like he's going to have
he could have another 5-6 years in him, yeah.
Yeah, and I think Sean Lunt just looks to me as if he's just sort of coming towards the end of his career. So I can't see what Leeds really are getting out of that one. Other than
it strikes me as Matt Parcell. I mean, I touched on it earlier that he's not really fulfilled his potential at Leeds. It strikes me as though he's never really slotted into the side very well.
I think Matt Parcell, similar to Cuthbertson, really. First season, Matt Parcell were outstanding. Taught to be in the dream team, and it was touted to be
the next big thing,
and close to Man of Steel honours and things like that. His first season were outstanding. Not quite worked for him since. I don't know why. I don't know if it's to do with him just not enjoying his surroundings, or whether they've adapted and tweaked the way they've played, and it's not suited Matt Parcell. And just like Cuthbertson, I think in his first year he played how he wanted to play, and devastating at times, and he's just never lived up to that sort of hype. I know they're two completely different players, and you'd argue that Cuthbertson still does well for Leeds, but yeah, I think Matt Parcell would be an absolute. I think he needs to move on. It's got stale for him at Leeds. I think he could be an absolute steal for a lot of clubs. I know I'd certainly take him at Wakefield. I'd certainly take him to be a hooker at Wakefield with Carl Wood. And I think if Leeds are looking at Sean Lunt, they're looking at Sean Lunt just to maybe play 10-15 minutes to stiffen him up to give Brad Dwyer a rest.
Yeah.
So, it's all good, it's all well and good saying, we're getting rid of Parcell to bring in Lunt, Lunt's 53. But, it's not just about the individual itself, it's about what's best for the team. And Sean Lunt probably can't play as big a minutes as he used to, so to get him in and just sort of play 15 minutes may well bring the best out of Brad Dwyer.
I mean, he's just signed another 5-year deal, hasn't he? And I think we've spoken about it before on the show. I thought he was okay at Warrington.
Well, I'm not even going to say okay. I thought it was rubbish. I thought when Leeds signed him, I thought, what have they signed him for? He's quick, but runs up his own backside. He can't pass. It just seems to obviously just developed a little bit more to his game with experience and credit to him. He's proven me wrong.
He's one of the only players that's gone to Leeds in the past couple of years that's actually improved his game, and he's actually, for me, Leeds' best player this season.
Yeah, absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. I think without Brad Dwyer, and I said it earlier on in the season, I think Leeds would be in even more trouble than they're in now. Their performances, we'll stay with Leeds. We'll stick on Leeds while we're talking about them. Their performances are getting better. Couldn't get the win against Wigan at the weekend, but they're still thereabouts, aren't they, in terms of results?
I don't think they were terrible against Wigan from what I've seen. I didn't actually see it on the night. They obviously had a good result against Wakefield the week before, and against London, which was a much needed win the week before that at Magic Weekend. They couldn't quite pull it off. I mean, they were winning 14-11 at one point, and it just fell away from them. I think defensively they've got better. They look stronger. They're not letting in as many tries or sort of letting tackles go that they would have done earlier in the season. But I still think they're missing something in attack. For me, that combination of Richie Myler and Liam Sutcliffe just isn't working. And Richie Myler's just been off it for a couple of weeks, I think.
I'm just trying to think about what I'd do if I were the Leeds coach and I got given a job tomorrow. I'd make wholesale changes.
You've got to.
But
I think that's
but part of me's thinking, well, what changes can I make? Because who have they got that'd be better than Sutcliffe and Myler in halfback?
I don't think they've got any.
I don't think they've
got anybody. But then, I think for me that maybe not this season, but I mean, I think they'll have enough at the end of the season to stay up. But I think next season they need a massive overhaul. They've obviously got Callum Watkins is obviously leaving. We know as of Friday that He signed for the Gold Coast Titans over in Australia. He'll hope to regain his best form over there. But they've made these big signings, and we've mentioned it before on the show that they've come over here. They've not done anything.
I think Trent Merrin's been good.
Yes,
I think Trent Merrin's been good.
Bar Trent Merrin, the others, for me,
I think
not really done much.
I think Lola here's got enough quality. I just think he's maybe been pushed flitting between 6 and 1 and things. Hasn't
he's
helped
not really settled in
and
yet.
He's not, and he hasn't helped himself. But I think he's got the potential to get better, and you'll see over the next few weeks that Lola here will probably improve and get a little bit better and get better as the season goes on. I think. You said you think Leeds will be too good to get relegated. I disagree. I think they probably will be. Look, they might do, but I don't think they're too good to get relegated at all. Because I look at other sides.
I didn't say that. No, I didn't say they were too good. I said I think they'll be okay come the end of the season.
Well, I'm not.
I don't think they'll get relegated.
I'm not convinced they will because I just.
But do you think they're going to get relegated?
I don't know. I honestly don't know who's going to get relegated. That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to say so and so is going to get relegated. I'm going to be a bit bold here, and if I think a team's going to get relegated, I think Huddersfield will get relegated. But Leeds Rhinos have as much chance as anybody else, and I look at.
Oh no, I don't
and
dispute
I've looked
that.
At them for the last couple of years. They've no leader for one. They've nobody that can win them a game just like that. They've got a couple of players that are top draw players, but the rest are all average. You know, I just think that in a one-off game, they could be beat by anybody in the competition, and that's what sort of makes me think that Leeds are in danger. I can see Leeds recruiting between now and the end of the season. I can see a few players come in that might strengthen them and things like that, which will probably pull them away from that bottom bracket. But yeah, they're in trouble. I think trouble,
absolutely.
big style.
And I think you're going to have to look at the table to see that they are in trouble. But what I was saying was, I don't think that come the end of the season they will get relegated. But they do need to make some big changes. I think the whole team, bar a couple of players, they need to get rid of them.
Yeah.
And it's been like that for a while. They've never been the same since the likes of Sinfield, Peacock, all that lot. I mean, Jamie Jones Buchanan probably won't be playing again after this season. I mean, he's hardly played this season. I can't remember the last time he played. So they've kind of got rid of the old squad, and they're bringing in youngsters out there. Harry Newman, he's impressed. He's another one that's impressed me, and he'll be one for the future. But they need to bring a couple of new names.
I've got a question for you.
Freshen it up.
I've got a question for you. Who's the next Leeds captain? Who's your next Leeds captain?
It's that's a very tough one. Out of that team, I don't know who can lead the team around the park and lead the team on and off the field. There's been discussions of maybe Trent Merrin stepping up into that role.
I'll be surprised if Trent's still here at the end of the season.
Yes, and in my opinion, that's all. That's just things that I've seen online and social media and what have you. But I'm not convinced. But that's what they lack for me. I think a leader that's leading them on the field, leading them around the park, and I just can't see anybody in that team at the minute. To answer your question, I don't know who would take it.
I've got two ideas. I've got two players that I think could possibly get the captain that'll shock you.
Okay.
I think Richie Myler's got a chance.
Yeah.
I think Brad Singleton's got a chance. I think those two players are the ones for me that.
Brad Singleton?
Yeah, I think he knows the club. Like, he's one of them that's been at the club for a while. Richard Agar's played him every game since he's been in, when he's been in and out with the team, I think. Yeah. He's a character that speaks well and well respected in the dressing room. He's been there a while. Yeah, I think he's at that age now. He's experienced and things, and
you'd say
he'd probably play every week. No, but that possibly not. But that could fall into the. I am the captain now. I've got that extra responsibility. I need to tidy up a few areas. I think that could make him a little bit a better player. And Richie Myler, I think just because I don't mind Richie Myler as a player, I think he's all right.
I think that would be the logical choice.
I think he speaks well. He's calm. He's one of them that'll probably Sinfield'd like Myler as captain because he's not too much of a powerful character. Yeah. I think I think probably Richie Myler would be my choice. But like I say, it wouldn't surprise me if until the end of the season they give it to somebody like Brad Singleton. Or maybe.
Yeah, well, it just depends for the in the long term, obviously, after this season and where they go with the captain. It all depends on who comes in as your head coach, who's staying, who's going. They'll put someone in interim until the end of the season, obviously, but then next season, I think it's.
Well, Agar's going to have it till the end of the season.
Well, yeah.
And I think
another
one as well. I didn't say. I think Ferris might have a chance till the end of the season.
Pardon?
I think Ferris might possibly be captain.
Yeah.
Till the end of the season on a sort of interim basis, because I know he's done it a couple of occasions this year before as Ferris, so that might just be the one till the end of the season. But moving on from Leeds now, they were beaten by Wigan on Friday night. They're just now hitting that point, aren't they, where they're just starting to feel things working for them, and without being outstanding, I don't think they've been outstanding yet.
I don't think
they're plodding on nicely, aren't they, and they'll probably start to climb the ladder a bit more.
Well, they've started now, haven't they? They're on equal points in the middle of the table with Wakefield and Salford. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think that they've necessarily hit the heights that Wigan are used to. They've not been outstanding, they've not done anything special, but they've been grinding out those wins, and I think that's what they've needed over the past couple of games. They've not needed to play spectacular rugby to win those games, and they've needed a couple of results under the belt to give them that confidence. And then now they can build on the performances and start climbing the ladder, like you said, and I think they'll be fine. They'll be, if not top 5, they'll be there or thereabouts come the end of the season.
I think they'll miss out on top 5, and I think that they do. I think they're struggling in certain areas. I think they've got their halfbacks. A lot of praise gets thrown to George Williams, but I think as an halfback pair and as a partnership, they're okay. I don't think it's really
necessarily worked that well this season.
No, and I think George Williams is a funny player, because I have yet to see.
Yeah, I don't think he's been that spectacular. I mean, Wigan haven't anyway, but I don't think he's kind of got lost for me in
terms of
games.
an individual. Williams has got the attributes that you want from a rugby player. He takes a line on it. He's quick. He's got a good short range kicking game. He's a competitor. He's good defensively. He's got all those. But I've yet to see George Williams strike a partnership at club level, at international level, with any other halfback.
Yeah.
And I think that's the issue, because he's not just played with one or two. He's had a fair few as Williams, and I've yet to think, them two sing off same hymn sheet and they play the right. They play well together. When you look at other halfback partnerships in the league, I think Wigan missed that. And it's a funny thing with George Williams. I've never been his biggest fan. I've always thought he's been decent, and I won't. There's an individual player he's good. I won't turn him away from my side, but that's where Wigan probably do struggle a little bit, I think, and I think they've got a few ageing players in the middle as well. That
I've got a question for you.
Go on.
You were just saying that he's not really formed a half-back partnership with anybody. He's played with a few people. Who would you say is the best half-back partnership in the league?
The best half-back partnership in the league? Oh. I'd think the Salford halves. I think Louis and Hastings are... And I tell you what, I watched them on Sunday, and Robert Louis is just
when they play together.
Hastings got the man of the match but that isn't right. Louis was by far the best, the dominant half. He was involved in most plays. Jackson Hastings played well and set up a nice try, but if you watch the highlights back and just everything about Robert Louis' game were class. The only issue you do have with those two players, they're both capable of just disappearing. So Louis and Hastings class on Sunday, they could play this week on Friday and you won't even pitch.
Yeah.
And I think Jackson Hastings, I think he's class. I think he's a great player, but I do think he's maybe not quite the finished article that people are saying he is, just because of the fact he doesn't do it enough. But when he does do it, they're unbelievable. So Louis and Hastings, and then I will also lean towards. I
would say for me, Albert Kelly and Mark Sneed.
Well, I was gonna say Kelly and Sneed, but same again. That's another one thing for me. I think Albert Kelly's got all the ability in the world, but doesn't do it enough.
We said it
I think Mark Sneed's a perfect halfback. So I was gonna say them, and the other ones I was gonna sort of say. obviously Warrington have got probably the best player in the comp in Blake Austin, but as in terms of a partnership with Patton, have they quite clicked yet? Probably not, because I think Austin's a dominant half and Patton's just doing the little things. And Saints, Lomax and Farge are looking a decent partnership.
Yeah, but they've kind of...
But I think Saints play a different way to everybody else. Yeah. Saints play with it's not a partnership; it's a trio.
Yeah.
So Lachlan Coote is the calming player, and I think Saints are a much better team with Coote in there. And when you've got Lomax and Farge that both like to run the ball, it's good that you've got a calm, cool head in Lachlan Coote to chime in as and when and pop up as a first receiver or chime in right at the back. He's the key to that one for me. But if you're half-back combination, Louis and Hastings or Kelly and Sneed.
Yeah, I agree. We'll break for a song there.
Yep.
And we'll come back.
So don't forget,
if
you've got any questions or any points you want to put across, get in touch with us live on Smile Radio Yorkshire on Facebook Live, Instagram and Twitter, Smile Radio 3. So get in touch with us, you know you want to. You listen to Connor and Zoe on The Whistle live on Smile Radio.
Woke up cold one Tuesday. I'm looking tired and feeling quite sick. I felt like there was something missing in my day-to-day life. So I quickly opened the wardrobe, pulled out some jeans and a t-shirt that seemed clean, topped it off with a pair of old shoes that were ripped around the seams. And I thought these shoes just don't suit me. Hey, I put some new shoes on and suddenly everything's right. I said, hey, I put some new shoes on and everybody's smiling. It's so inviting. No short on money on time, slowly strolling in the sweet sunshine. And I'm running late and I don't need an excuse, 'cause I'm wearing my brand new shoes. Woke up late one Thursday and I'm seeing stars as I'm rubbing my eyes, and I felt like there were 2 days missing as I focused on the time. Then I made my way to the kitchen, but I had to stop from the shock of what I found. A room full of all of my friends all dancing round and round. And I thought, hello new shoes, bye bye blues. Hey, I put some new shoes on and suddenly everything's right. I said, hey, I put some new shoes on and everybody's smiling. It's so inviting. No short on money but long on time, slowly strolling in the sweet sunshine. And I'm running late and I don't need an excuse, 'cause I'm wearing my brand new shoes. Take me wandering through these streets where bright lights and angels meet. Stone to stone they take me on, I'm walking till the break of dawn. Take me wandering through these streets where bright lights and angels meet. Stone to stone they take me on, I'm walking till the break of dawn. Hey, I put some new shoes on and suddenly everything is right. I said, hey, I put some new shoes on and everybody's smiling. It's so inviting. No short on money but long on time, slowly strolling in the sweet sunshine. And I'm running late and I don't need an excuse, 'cause I'm wearing my brand new shoes. Oh, hey, I put some new shoes on and suddenly everything is right. I said, hey, I put some new shoes on and everybody's smiling. It's so inviting. Oh, short on money but long on time, slowly strolling in the sweet sunshine. And I'm running late and I don't need an excuse, 'cause I'm wearing my brand new shoes.
College Grove Nursery in Wakefield has been providing the highest standard of childcare for over 22 years. Situated on Eastmore Road, we are close to the M1 and M62 motorway network and also convenient for Wakefield city centre, schools and major places of employment. For more details, check out our website at www.collegegrovenursery.co.uk or give us a call on 01924 200 120 to arrange a visit. College Grove, a special nursery which takes a hand, opens a mind and touches a heart.
Dum-dum-dum. We're back.
We've just realised we had a bit of technical difficulties with Facebook Live in that first quarter of an hour, 20 minutes. So
Miss me,
if you missed us, all you missed was us talking about Leeds, who's going to be the next Leeds captain, their result against Wigan at the weekend. So yeah, get involved. Who's on with us? You've got my phone.
Yeah, well, we've got Rachel, we've got Jill, we've got Marie, we've got Ben Gummersol, who's just tuned in and asked a question. I know the answer to that one, Ben, and I was gonna get your opinions on that as well. Ben asked who was the only West Yorkshire team in all three top divisions to win at the weekend. That's Featherstone Rovers. Unbelievable at the minute, Ben. So what do you think of them? They're absolutely cruising, and I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago. Ashton Golding's been a breath of fresh air for Fev at full-back. He was the man of the match at the weekend, and there was talk that he may possibly be in Leeds' squad for Friday, but he's not, which is a relief for Fev fans.
Yeah, but then you've got to think, I mean, what more can he do to get into that to get into that Leeds side? I mean, he's been playing really well over the past couple of games. Jack Walker's been out injured, and he's still not getting game time for Leeds, so he must be down the pecking order. So would you look at trying to make that a permanent deal?
If I'm Fev, I'm
because he's obviously not getting in at Leeds.
I'm knocking on Gary Everington and Kevin Sinfield's door.
He's not getting in at Leeds, is he? Because, like I said, they've been without Jack Walker, and they've chosen to go with Lola Hare, and even when he was injured as well. So, he's not. He's down the pecking order for Leeds.
Yeah, and what a signing that would be for Fev to get him on a permanent deal. I think that he's not the most technically gifted player in the world, is Ashton Golding, but he's a good player. You know, he's never really let Leeds down when he's played. He's just maybe lacked a little bit of quality that they needed at that particular time, and I think he's found his place at Fev and he's playing really well. I think he's at an age, is Ashton Golding, where he needs to be playing every week. He's 22 year old. He needs to be playing every week. And I think that what strikes me with Golding as well is he seems a good person. He seems somebody that's willing to improve and willing to make a mark on whichever team he plays in. And he's always one of them that seems to have a lot of time for the fans. You know, comes across in a really good light all the time. And I think Fev, that's a great bit of business, because the danger with getting players on dual registration is they know they're not going to be in it for the long run, and they know that they think, I'm only here because I can't get in at Leeds and all that. I don't think Ashton Golding will be that character. I think he's one of them that thinks, right, I'm here at Fev, I'm putting 100% in at Fev. I want to impress these Fev fans. And that's exactly what he's doing, and it's good to see. It's good to see, because he had so much not potential. That's probably the wrong word.
Well, he must have done, because they signed him. I don't think on a 5-year deal, didn't they?
I think potential is probably the wrong word, but I think he was hyped up a little bit more than he probably should have been as he came through. Brian McDermott seemed to throw him in at the deep end, and was he ready? Probably not. But yeah. Be a great signing for Fev, and Ben said the mighty Featherstone Rovers, now unbeaten 6th in the league, and results depending, could go second at weekend.
Well, they're doing the best out of all West Yorkshire sides, I think, at the minute. There's nobody else doing as well as Fev.
Ben's just said there, it's good to have some stability at fullback, as we have struggled there since Ian Hardman left, and that brings me on to fullback. Ian Hardman was a great player for Featherstone for a number of years, and when you lose a fullback who's played in your system for so long, it's hard to replace. And especially when you've not just got one that's going to play week in, week out. You know, they've had Callum Turner play there. They've had a couple of others, obviously. Ashton Golding's playing there now. full-back, for me, you need somebody in there that's going to play week in, week out and nail that spot, because it's one of the most important positions on the field. So, yeah, I agree, Ben. Good to have some stability at full-back now.
And they're all playing well together out there.
Are on a massive roll, aren't they?
Well, the bookies' favourites or second. I mean, Toronto are going to walk it, but they came up at bookies' favourites to get promoted, aren't they? Something like ridiculous like that.
Yeah, well, I think obviously if it goes down to a one-off game, I think Feather are the only team equipped to beat Toronto.
Yeah.
Jack Render, that's the one who they're on about, who's played there as well. Yeah, so it's the numbers obviously they keep flitting about with who's played there, so it's good to have a full-back for the long term. I hope for Fev, because they're doing so well. I hope that they can keep him, so keep Golding at full-back.
I agree,
because he's a quality player for that division. So the other big game to speak about at the weekend, London.
Yeah.
Unbelievably, just blew Catalans away, and you know it's great for them, isn't it? It really is great for them, and they're just on fire at the minute, aren't they? And they look like scoring. They look dangerous off every play. And Alex Walker were great on Saturday. Really was good. He attacked the line. He chimed in, picked and chose.
Jordan Abdul again, just playing.
Well, and I keep saying this now. Abdul's playing his game now.
Yeah.
He's not been He's not been given the "you've got to guide this side around the field" sort of title. Although he hasn't got that, he is enjoying that responsibility, mind you. But his running with the ball is deceptive for a big guy, and he's got some size about him. So when he can, because he can shift really for a big guy, he can shift. So when you've got somebody who's big and has a bit of pace about him, he's always going to be a threat. And they've got somebody that's not a running half. Morgan Smith's not a running half. He's a calm sort of head for a young guy, and kicks the ball particularly well. That allows Jordan Abdul there just to chime in and just say, right, Morgan, you take responsibility for these 3-4 tackles. I'll come in at fourth tackle and take the line on, and it's working because he's staying fresh in the game. He doesn't have to be involved in every play, which he's probably been guilty of in the past. He's just coming in and pitching at the right time.
Has he signed for Hull KR, or is that deal not been
done
yet?
I'm led to believe it will be an Hull KR player next year.
So they'll miss him. They'll miss him with London next year, whether they stay up or whether they don't. They'll. I mean, I think London have turned a few heads this year. They've obviously come up. Nobody expected them to do anything. Everybody expected them to not win a game all season, and look where they are now. They're on equal points with Hull KR and Leeds, and that game tomorrow is huge for both sides really. Hull KR had a massive win against Warrington last week, so it's going to be a really tough game tomorrow. But I am leaning towards just the way that they're playing at the minute. They've got a massive win in Catalans at the weekend, and then the weekend obviously before that we've spoken about it against St Helens. I would bet on London winning that game tomorrow.
I think it's going to be a tough one. I think it'll be close and there won't be much between the two sides. I think London, obviously, a lot of energy. They've only got a small squad as it is, and going to London and to Catalans, and Danny Ward sets his team up every week to give 100% and turn the blood into water. And
well, he's doing something right, isn't he?
So will maybe be a little bit fatigued? Time will tell.
Yeah.
Hull KR have. They played Warrington, but having said that,
London have had two massive games, so you could forgive them for being fatigued, like you said. But arguably tomorrow is the biggest game of the season so far, considering the league table. And
I think that Hull KR as well, to beat Warrington at any game and any place, you'll have had to give 110% every player.
Yeah.
So there might be a few.
There'll be a few tired bodies
in there for Hull KR. I am leaning towards London. I think just purely on the fact that they've just got an extra spring in the step, and they're at home as well, which is a massive thing.
I mean, teams going down to London, I think, have been guilty of underestimating them so far this season. You've seen it twice with Wakefield, you've seen it with St Helens the other week, Wigan as well, and I just think, I think now teams are starting to realise, actually, London are the real deal, and they've come up and they're not taking any prisoners, so I don't think Hull KR will be taking them as easily as, say, some other teams have done or have been guilty of so far.
I've been really impressed with Elliot Keir in the centres.
Yeah.
I think he's always had funny players. Elliot Keir, he's always sort of been on the fringes of making his breakthrough in Super League. I know people are raving about him at Bradford.
Yes,
and then of course he played at Crusaders as well. Did Elliot Keir. He's always been a handy little player. And he seems to have found a spot in that London side there in the centres, and yeah, he's playing really well. So London, they've got a whole lot of confidence. Luke Yates is rumoured to be joining. I can't remember if it was Salford or Hull KR, but whichever one it is, that's a good signing for them, because he's a player that seems to just be thriving.
Yeah, I'm just worried. I'm worried for London, because they seem to have a lot of the players being poached from.
It's going to happen.
And of course it is,
happen.
Of course it is. But then where does that leave London at the end
They'll
of the
be fine. They'll be
end
fine.
of the
They'll
season?
recruit. They'll obviously believe in their philosophers. They've done well to get them players by recruiting them in the first place. So surely the recruitment strategy they've got is good enough to find replacements.
I just hope that they can. I do hope that they can stay up. I really do. I would like to see them in Super League again next year. See how they recruit in the off season, and then see kind of what side they'll be in their second season.
Yeah, because I think it's knowledge that Alex Walker's moving on from London at the end of the season,
and Jordan Abdul as well. We've spoken about that.
Moving on at the end of the season. A couple of others linked with moves away. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do. But you just got to live for the moment, aren't you? And London Broncos are flying, and I think they'll be. They'll beat OKR tomorrow night by 8 points.
8 points, you're saying, yeah.
Yeah, I do.
But yeah, no, it'll be a good game. I'm looking forward to watching that one.
The one game that wasn't a good game on Sunday, well, it wasn't a good game for me. Wakefield.
I said last week, didn't I? I said Salford would win.
I said on the radio, didn't I? I said I fancied Wakefield, which I'm always going to do. Maybe not this week though. But I did actually say, off air and a couple of days leading up to the game, I said I think Salford might win this comfortably, and I did actually say I think Salford might get 40. Wakefield is broken at the minute. They're boosted this week by the return. Dave Fafita's back, and Mason Caton Brown's in contention. He could return, which will be a breath of fresh air. You know, Mason just adds that energy, and Dave, we all know what Dave's like.
Well, they need something, don't they? Because they've got themselves into a bit of a hole. I think that 5 games on the bounce now that they've lost. I mean, yeah, you can blame it on injuries, and I don't think any team in the Super League has got it tougher than Wakefield at the minute with the amount of injuries that they've got. But it's a good job that they'd got points on the board early on in the season. Otherwise, they could have been in a real problem at the minute. Chris Chester said after the game on Sunday that they were in a relegation battle. I don't think that they are. They're 2 points off 5th spot, but then again, they're 4 points off the bottom. So a couple of results either way could see them jump up into 4th or 5th or 4th, but then a couple of results the other way could see them lower down the table.
It's mad what a bad run.
It's the nature
of bad luck. You know.
It's the nature of the Super League this year. You can see from, I think, 4 downwards or 3 downwards that they're closer to the bottom of the table than they are to the top, and any one of those teams from 4 or 5 down aren't safe, in my opinion. It could change in a matter of weeks. I think Wakefield will go to Warrington on Friday. I don't think they'll win that one. I think they'd struggle even with a full strength squad out. But I think the game that they've got to focus on is next Friday. They play Huddersfield at home. And that's going to be a massive game.
Well, that's it, isn't it? You know, I'm just looking. They will have a few players back for Huddersfield. The key is, and it's wishful thinking. When they've started to get a few players back, like your Bruffs and your Millers and just those players on that line, they've lost a few more.
Yeah.
And at the minute, they're absolutely struggling, desperately.
Oh well, they have a couple of people, they have a couple of players coming back. And then in the same game, they'll have a couple of players.
Well, they've no second rowers. The only second rower you've got is Paulie at the weekend, and you wouldn't say Paulie is an original, natural second rower. He is a second rower, but what I'm saying is when you think of a second rower, somebody who can play 80 minutes and and play it consistently. He's the only one sort of thing that's a back rower, so they're going to have to play somebody out of position on Friday in the back row. Not sure who it's going to be, but yeah, they're struggling there for back rowers, and Bill Tupou's back next week against Huddersfield, but he's not going to play in the back row, so he comes in and will strengthen us. But it's just obviously we just need.
Well, you just need to be careful as well. After so long out, he's not going to come back against Huddersfield, is he? And be the player that he was when he got injured. So it's tough. I think once they get the bodies back, obviously they've got Tom Johnston and Arona out for the season. But once they start getting the bodies back, the results should start coming. I think they'll be fine at the end of the season. But a couple of losses in the next couple of weeks, and they could be down there battling.
Ben Gumasol, is the Trinity injury crisis any worse than the Hull FC last year?
I think it's pretty much the same.
Well, I think it's... Hull FC were getting beat 70 points, 76 points and things like that. And yeah, they did have some players out, but I think it was at a different stage in the season. I think it's hard to judge them because Hull FC realised that they couldn't make the 5 last year. Sorry, the 4, because it was 4 then, wasn't it? So they realised they couldn't make the 4. So I think they just sort of just put Q on the right. They knew they wasn't going to get into the get drawn in down the bottom end of the table. So they blow out scores and a few players get injured. But yeah, I think it's completely different. I think different type of stages of the season as well. That plays into factor. Just fingers crossed at Wakefield get the bodies on the field, get that win against Huddersfield next week. And then kick on, because they need to kick on, don't they?
Yeah, depending on what the result is. I mean, they might go to Warrington and shock everybody. I don't think they will, but stranger things have happened. London beat St Helens the other week, so we'll see. But I think the one that they've got to concentrate on is Huddersfield next week. I mean, Huddersfield play Wigan on Friday night. Hard to call that one, but with the way Wigan have been going and the way Huddersfield have been going, they've got a few bodies out. I think Wigan will win that one. So they've got to focus on that Huddersfield game next Friday.
Here's a question, guys. With so many injuries, do we need to look at the way teams are being coached? Maybe you need to look at the coaching staff if there's so many injuries at once. I think that's a fair enough question, that. And I'd probably ask that, would I be in a complete looking from the outside in? There's certain injuries.
I was going to say it just depends on the injury for me.
Yeah, and for me, Wakefield have a lot of impact injuries. So Arona and Tom Johnson out for the season. Just innocuous. Just you can't do anything about stepping off your foot and snapping a ligament. That's not down to our coach. It's just one of them nasty, cruel things. Also, Tyler Randall ruled out with a head knot. Another one you can't know what to do with that. Kermond is a knee, an impact injury. So he's been out for feet as an ankle, so another impact injury. The only time you seem to question the coaching and the staff is if the muscle injuries, so maybe overload of the hamstrings. I know James Batchelor's ruled out with a hamstring, but he's probably the only one that's missed through muscular. The rest are all sort of impact injuries, and yeah, you can't really label that down to anybody else. It's just one of those unlucky things, I think, and. That's.
Yeah, I think you could.
But it is a fair question.
Yeah, and I
because
think
obviously, Ben, you won't know what injuries them players have, and if I'm going down that list and saying hamstring, calf, quad.
Yeah, you can question
groin,
it then. I think. Yeah.
You maybe think, why are they all getting muscle tweaks and muscle pulls? But impact injuries are different.
They're unavoidable, aren't they? They happen the part and parcel of the game. Unfortunately for Wakefield, they've got 10, 11, 12 all come within the space of a couple of weeks. So, it's a fair question. But I think with Wakefield, like you've just explained, they're all impact injuries. And there's not much you can do about that.
No. Well, we've got just over 15 minutes left now. So I think we're going to...
Have a put my teeth back in. Have our last song.
And then we can go through as predictions.
Predictions, yeah.
And hopefully Facebook won't block us. So if you're listening, Mark Zuckerberg,
cross his fingers.
We are a fully fledged legit radio station. We pay our PPL and PRS licenses. So stop blocking the content, please.
Please.
Listen to On the Whistle with Colin and Zoe live on Smile Radio.
You were my sun, you were my earth. You didn't know all the ways I loved you, no. So you took a chance and made other plans. But I bet you didn't think that they would come crashing down, no. You don't have to say what you did, I already know. I found out from here, there's just no chance when you and me, there'll never be. And don't it make you sad about it? Told me you love me, why did you leave me all alone? Now you tell me you need me, when you call me on the phone. Girl, I refuse, you must have me confused with some other guy. The bridges go burn, now it's your turn to cry. Tell me a river, tell me a river, tell me a river, tell me a river, yeah, yeah. I know that they say that some things are better left unsaid, but it wasn't like you only talk to him and you know it. Don't act like you don't know it. And all of these things people told me keep messing with my head. Should've picked honesty, then you may not have thought it. Yeah. Don't have to say what you did. I already know. I found out from him. Now there's just no chance. You and me, there'll never be. And don't it make you sad about it? Told me you love me, why did you leave me all alone? All alone. Now you tell me you need me, when you call me on the phone. Call me on the phone. Girl, I refuse, you must have me confused with some other guy. Not like them, baby. The bridges go burn, now it's your turn. It's your turn to cry. So tell me a river, go on and just tell me a river, go on and just tell me a river, baby, go on and just tell me a river.
The damage is done, so I guess I'll be leaving. The damage is done, so I guess I'll be leaving. The damage is done, so I guess I'll be leaving. The damage is done, so I guess I'll be leaving.
Don't have to say what you did. I already know. No chance. You and me. Don't it make you sad? Go on and just tell me a river. Baby, go on and just tell me a river. You can go on and just tell me a river. Tell me a river. Baby, go on and just tell me a river. Go on and just tell me a river. I already cried. Tell me a river. And I'm crying no more. Yeah, yeah.
If you're looking for custom-made curtains and blinds, get yourself down to the Curtain Shop. Visit our showrooms at Kingsway Ossett or High Street Normanton. For all your curtains, blinds and upholstery needs, go to the Curtain Shop. And if you mention Smile Radio, you'll qualify for free lining for all custom-made curtains. The Curtain Shop, Kingsway Ossett and High Street Normanton. The Curtain Shop.
The Curtain Shop.
The Curtain Shop.
Don't forget, if you mention
You're
Smile
not sick.
Radio, you get free lining with all
Hurrah.
custom-made curtains.
Aye.
Ben, to my arm. I've fractured my shoulder, Ben, unfortunately.
Fractured.
Was it the humerus?
My humerus joint. It's not very humorous, I'm telling you that. Yes, so I've got to have it in a sling for a couple of weeks and then see what happens after that.
No,
but,
it's not humorous.
But I'm all right. I'm getting there. I'm just rendered useless for now. I'm having to get everybody to wait on my hand and foot, which is quite nice.
No.
I'm enjoying it.
She had me butter and other crackers earlier.
Steady on.
She cried laughing. And for those on Facebook Live who don't know, I shaved my head for Brave the Shave along with Karen Donnell, and I think we've raised about 1,500 quid as a collective.
Woohoo!
So
For Cancer Research UK.
Yeah. So with a few of the
If you
girls,
want to donate, the link is on my Facebook and on Richard's Facebook as well.
I'll be sharing it again. So
yeah, so any little helps.
yeah, thanks for sharing it, everybody, and thanks for all the support. It's for a fantastic cause.
Good stuff. Ben Gummersoul, special mention please for Wakefield Trinity LDSL who have a tournament at Warrington on Saturday. Ben, I'm sure I read somewhere on Facebook that you're getting involved with that. If you want to just tell us a little bit more about that and what you're doing with that team, just give us a bit more information. So we've got.
Well, we could get you on next week, Ben, to talk about it.
Yeah,
talk to us through via the phone.
Yeah,
if you want.
We'll give you a call next week. We'll get you on. We'll have a talk about that. So fixtures this week: London, Hull KR. I think we've previewed that already, and I've gone London. Zoe, what are you thinking?
We already said London on that one. I think it'll be close, but I'm going to go London by 2 points.
Yeah, I've gone
think it'll
London
be really
by
close.
8. Huddersfield, Wigan. I'm going to go Wigan to win that one.
Yeah, Huddersfield have just been off the boil, haven't they, for a while. I think Wigan are just starting to get into the stride. Like we said earlier, they've not had to do anything spectacular, but they'll get those performances up, and I think they'll have enough to beat Huddersfield. So I'm going to go for a comfortable win by at least 12.
Yep, I'm going to go for Wigan by 14. Salford Cass Friday night. I'm going to go Salford to win that one. I was really impressed by them. I think the trio of Evans, Louis and Hastings is as good as any in the comp. I think Salford will win that quite comfortably. I'm going to go Salford to win by 14.
Yeah, I mean, you saw on Thursday night Cass playing against Hull, and they were 14-4 up at half-time, and then I think they were kind of architects of their own downfall, really. They were rubbish in the second half, and Hull just ran away with it. I still don't think Castleford are the finished article. I think similar to Leeds, I mean, obviously they're in a better position, but I think they've got a lot of players that they need to move on, and players that they should be bringing in. So, and yeah, I was impressed with Salford on Sunday. On the back of a couple of poor results, they put in a really good performance. And they're at home, aren't they, on Friday? So I'll go Salford to win by 8.
Good stuff. Saints versus Leeds. That's Saints. I think Saints will win that one comfortably. I'm going to go Saints by 18.
Saints Leeds.
Yeah.
Yeah, easy. Saints are, bar that result from against London, they're hitting the stride, aren't they? They're miles head and shoulders above anybody else in the competition. Yeah, I'm going to go Saints by 20.
Good stuff. Warrington, Wakefield. Go on, you can kick off with that one.
I don't see any way that Wakefield are going to win that. I mean, like you said, they've got Fafita and Mason Caton-Brown back in the 19, but still missing too many players, and they'll be playing players out of position. So I'm going to go Warrington by 18.
I'm going to go for Warrington to win by...
We can't go for all the same ones again.
Well, maybe we might have to... We might have a different opinion on next one.
All right.
Warrington to win by 14.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the next one is Catalans and Hull, isn't it? Now I think that's an interesting one.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
They're both 2 points separating them in the league. Catalans had a poor result against London.
Yeah,
but
Hull are a funny side. They can play well one week and rubbish the next.
We sound like broken records, don't we?
Catalan are exactly the same, aren't they?
The two most inconsistent teams in the competition playing against each other. Really.
Yeah, well,
I would say.
I think possibly. Catalans will win that one for me. Back to winning ways. Catalans to win that
depends. It depends what player.
Catalans by 7.
It depends what players they've got coming back. I know they had a long list of injuries last week against London. So if they've got the players coming back, I've not seen the team. I don't think it's been announced yet. So it just depends. But I think I'm going to go for Hull to win that one.
You're going for Hull, and
I think it'll be a close one, and I'm going to go Hull by 4.
Ooh, interesting. Yeah, Catalan by 7. I'm going to maintain that.
Yeah. So we differ on that one, don't we? So
a few comments coming in. Ben, Connor speaks to Craig Shepherd. I'm sorry about. Yeah, I'm. PD, I'm quite, I know quite a bit about that, obviously, with Craig. I was just wondering what your I think I noticed on your Facebook you were getting involved, so I was just wondering what your remit was, what you were getting involved with. So yeah,
we can do that next week.
We can have a chat about that next week. I'll be in touch during the week, Ben, and we'll
organise that for next week.
We'll organise that for next week.
And if you send us some information, Ben, I'll promote it on the website and on our Facebook as well. So
yeah,
we'll share the love.
Share the love.
Good stuff.
We're all Smile Radio family here, aren't we?
Yeah, baby.
So we're coming down to the last couple of minutes now.
Yeah, we've been a bit hit and miss, haven't we? Because of the live streams kind of been cutting off and stuff. So thank you for sticking with us.
And don't forget, if you're ever struggling listening or watching it on Facebook Live, you can download our free app for all smart devices, or listen live on our website www.smartradio.co. Or if you've missed this show or any other show,
onto Podbean or Spotify.
Exactly. Click on demand. Go to our website. Click on demand. Listen again, or download a podcast from all the major podcasting sites: Podbean, iTunes, Spotify. So yeah. Do it, you want to.
Just before we go, who's going to get relegated?
Oh, that is the $1 million question. I am. I don't know. Hull KR.
Hull KR. Oh no, I think Tony Smith's being smart with his recruitment, and one thing we haven't mentioned. I'll just quickly touch up on it. Harvey Levette, what a signing that is.
Yes,
yeah. Taking him at Wakefield, great player. Unlucky not to be in the team, but that's obviously Tony Smith's shrewd recruitment coming in to help him. So yeah.
Right, well, he's obviously had him at Warrington.
The team that'll go down for me is Huddersfield this year. I think that they're just very, very ordinary, and I think they're the ones that'll go down.
Yeah, but it was a toss-up between Hull KR and Huddersfield. It could be either of them, I think. Huddersfield just haven't really hit the stride, and unless they start getting players back and playing well together, then they won't.
I think London will go on a little bit of a run and stay.
I hope they do. But yes, between Hull KR and Huddersfield for me.
Right, I think we need to say our goodbyes because it's down to the last minute, and
yeah, well, thank you very much for tuning in.
Thanks. We'll be back same time next week.
Same time, same place.
About next week. So yeah, looking forward to that.
All right, have a good rest of the evening.
Have a good weekend, guys.
See you soon. Over and out.
Peace.
Here's my story. It's sad but true. It's about a girl that I once knew. She took my love, then ran around with every single guy in town.